All right, so I have a very grand vision for what I'm going to be able to do with this application, and we're not there yet, but I do think we're at a good breaking point. So if somebody signed up for this app, they would be able to do everything they needed to do to automatically create meal plans. Oh, there's some automation that doesn't happen yet, like we have to schedule the generation of a new meal plan every Friday or whatever. But what I'm ready to do in preparation for launch is I want to polish everything up. And I think that at that point, I will be able to deploy this. People will be able to come on here and they will be able to create a weekly template for their meal plan. They'll be able to add meals. They'll be able to add recipes. And then right now, they will be able to manage their own ingredients. And ingredient categories. It's not very user-friendly, but I don't plan on having users do that stuff in the long term anyway. So anyway, there is quite a bit of functionality here. And at the end of the day, it'll be able to generate their meal plans and their shopping lists. So that's cool. I want to get this out into the open and then iterate on it from there. Once it's public, once it's launched, then we can improve it from there. So I'm going to go through a series of tasks to simply polish things up. The first is going to be the icons. So I want to go through and finally pick out some good icons. So I'm going to go to the UI Toolkit demo site. It's on a free Heroku dyno, so it takes a second to load. So we're here. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong one. Click here, go on icons. So we're going to clean up this sidebar menu. And we're not going to just do the icons, but okay, so for stores, I actually like, you know what? Actually, there's probably a better one than this. And so I'm going to open up a few of the different icon sets. And TI calendar would be good for the meal plans themselves. We don't have meal plans in the sidebar, do we? We don't. That's interesting, actually, that we didn't do that. So let's do that. Oh, whoops. We should commit what we've got. All right, so we've pushed that up. I'm going to add to the sidebar for oh, there is one for meal plans. That's really strange. So we have stores, ingredients. I wonder why meal plans isn't showing up there. Oh, because it can't read a new meal plan. All right, so yeah. So there's the meal plan calendar. This isn't really great UI. So what we're gonna do is probably go through And instead of just allowing it to be all of the meal plans, what I'm going to do is it'll be the template meal plan. And then so the menu meal plans, I'll do a scope on meal plan that, so we have currently a scope for template and not template, and then we'll do next week. So for next week, we'll say week of is greater than date today. I think that should work. Let's see if that works. In our case, it'll probably have more than in our case, it will have a lot because, yeah, next week, because we have a lot of plans that we've created that are beyond this week. So weekly meal plan template next week. And then I'm going to edit the order of these. So we'll create another scope for this week. So if the week is greater than what the date was 7 days ago, then that'll be this week. We should call it this week. There aren't going to be any of those. In fact, oh, but less than, yeah, we need to put a qualifier on that. So there shouldn't be any this week. Yeah. All right. So in theory, so I'm going to leave that there. It should only have a plan for this week, next week. Now, okay, so that's our meal plans. That's the most important feature of our entire application. So I'm going to move that in our sidebar menu to the top. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff actually that I really don't think needs to be in the sidebar menu. I think it can be consolidated on a settings page. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to have a settings thing, and then it's going to have the settings. Yeah, I'll show you how that'll work. we have this example of adding a sidebar menu item. And so I want to do settings. Yeah, so settings. And that will include items. So we want the account team settings path, I think. Or maybe I think it's actually account settings team path. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a new route to our teams. Oh no, it's on member. So we're going to have a get settings. And I'll show you, so that link should work. So let's take a look at our routes. Settings, account team. Oh, really? It was like the one thing I didn't try. Path. All right. So we have the settings. I can click on settings now, and it will say that the settings can't be found. No problem. We will go onto the team controller and add all right, it's missing a template, so we'll add the template for it. Just copy index. And now you can see that the oh, and we need to update how do we do? I forget how you do this with load and authorize resource. All right, well, Yeah, I'm not really sure why this isn't working. I forget how I'm supposed to load an authorized resource. Yeah, we can try that. Okay. So if I do, I can authorize. Let's try that. So this will be without. I'm not really sure where Teams is getting populated. What is going on here? All right, so that works. Why is it looking at the Teams? Oh, I grabbed the index instead of the show. That's the problem. Darn it. That was a rabbit hole. All right, so possibly we don't need this. So the whole settings thing was wrong. We actually wanted the show action. All right, that worked. So, and then I think if I get rid of that, it won't work. Okay, apparently it will. And it's properly loading them. All right, good. So in the settings dashboard though, we're going to do this a little differently. All right, so settings. And then let's see. Let's find the YAML file. Settings. There we go. Culver settings. So in our settings, we want to include the stores, the ingredient categories, I would even say the ingredients, but not the recipes, not the meals, and not the meal plans. So settings will have our stores, ingredient categories, and ingredients. And then in fact, actually, what I'm going to do, man, I don't even know why I didn't think of this. I don't need these things on the dashboard. I can actually just go to those. We don't have to have like a settings page. I mean, we do, and that's fine. But I also am going to create a sidebar for each of those. Here, I'll show you. So on a sidebar, we have these items. Where are we on account? So we want the account. What were the things that we wanted to include here? The stores path, account, team stores path. Yeah, so we can do stores. And then ingredients. So you have the settings. In fact, we could probably consolidate ingredients and ingredient categories. All of these are going to the dashboard right now, and that's not what we want to happen. So in the stores controller, we don't want that to happen. So we want to be able to go to the stores controller. Whoops. We want to be able to go to the stores controller. And we can now do that. So, and then we want to be able to go to ingredient categories. But actually, I'm going to show you what we're going to do here is actually redirect to ingredients. So when we try to go to ingredient categories, we're going to go to ingredients, and then it's going to come back to the dashboard. But then when we go to ingredients controller, we're actually not going to redirect anymore. So you'll be able to see the ingredients. And so now for ingredients, what I'm going to do is on the ingredients show page, I'm going to include, it's not a nested. So if we could do from the settings, I'm going to add the ingredient categories to the ingredients show page. Whoops, not the show. Yep, there you go. So now you manage all of your ingredients in one place, and I can remove it from the settings. Now the settings page doesn't even have to exist because we have all of this stuff in one place. So I'm going to delete settings, and I'm going to get rid of the settings action on the Teams controller. Get rid of, and then in our abilities file, so now we have ingredient categories. And then on the dashboard, the team show page, I can get rid of stores, ingredients, and ingredient categories. So now we just have recipes, meals, meal plans, and what do we want to do here? All right, so we have the settings. So we don't need ingredient categories in the sidebar anymore. So we got a lot. Let's get rid of that. Don't save. We have a ton to clean up here. So in the account layout, which is where that sidebar is, I'm going to get rid of stores, ingredients, and ingredient categories. So that cleans up the sidebar quite a bit. Now, this is interesting because this all has to do with shopping. So I'm going to actually update this, not so that it's settings, but I'm going to call, let's see if that works. No, there's no store icon. Let's see if I can find a good store icon. Shopping, that's the shopping cart. Yes. Okay, TI shopping cart. TI shopping cart. And I'm going to change that settings. Now, and we don't even need to have ingredient categories in that bar anymore. There you go. So we have the meal plans, shopping, recipes, and meals. So for recipes, I think probably recipes and meals could be on the same page as well. But anyway, let's just double check that. Will we go to stores? If we hit back, takes us back to the right page. Yep, stores. And then if we do ingredients, bacon, back, vegetables, back. There we go. All right, so for recipes and meals, I wonder if it makes sense to, Let's try to find a good icon for recipe. I'm looking maybe for like a document or a list, or that looks pretty good. TI Notepad. Maybe a book. A book would be good. See if I see anything else that is pretty close. An agenda. I'm going to go with this for now. And then for meals, I'm going to have to find some food. And if I can't find it here, I need to look at some different icon sets. Those are too thick. Those are too thin. Although I'd be curious how that looks. Wow, this is a really great icon set. Wow. Wow, that's really nice. This is so good. I think I have to switch everything over to use this. Wowee. This is the icon set that we need for this app. Give me a break. All right. And inspect this element. I wonder if this will even work. I don't think I've ever used this icon set before. I hope it works. This isn't for meal. I'm just testing it. It worked. What? Oh, man. All right. Well, that just needs to happen. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to go back to agenda for that one. And then on sidebar, meals, I've just got to... That's just too good. Oh, it's too good. So let's see if there is a shopping cart. So for recipes, I'm going to call that, I don't know if this is even the best one, but I'm doing it. Oh, whoops. I pasted that in the wrong place. Oh, that just describes it perfectly. And then for shopping, sorry about that. All right, so shopping cart's looking good. Meal plans. So now we need the calendar that matches this theme. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but there's a subtle difference in the thickness of the lines, and so I would like to kind of make a complete switch over. So we are trying to find, what are we trying to find? A calendar. Probably the right way to do this is actually to just, if I can't find it real quick, I'll search the source for calendar. There we go. Let's use that one. So for meal plans, sidebar meal plan, and then we'll add that. All right, so we have those icons. Twitter doesn't even need to be here. So this is, if you look in bullettrain.rb, Twitter API key should be totally disabled. So I'll go in and add that to our server. Config. When the server starts back up, that'll be gone. And then the last one is team, just to make that consistent, or a family, as it is called in our application. Let's see if we can find groups of people. Actually, I think I remember using this icon set and having this issue before. I think what we'll do is we'll call it a household. It's probably better. Try to find a house icon. Sorry if this is painful to watch. What I really should do, and I tried doing it before, but didn't seem to get any good results, is house. So I don't know what these two look like, so I'll have to Yeah, that'll work. I'll take that. So the Culvers are meals, recipes, shopping, and meal plans. So in the sidebar, the meal plans should have a link to next week, this week, if it's been generated, or next week if it's been generated. This week will always show up, and then the weekly meal plan template. Shopping looks good. Recipes, we really don't need everything here. I don't want to list everything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to edit the recipe sidebar. And instead of, you can see here that we have a list of recipes that we're just, we have a list of recipes that we're adding this last item to. So add new recipe is the last item. And we've generated this list, but to be honest, we really don't need the list of menu recipes. What we want to do instead is link to the recipes path. So not new, but the account team recipes path for the current team. And then we can just say manage recipes. Okay. Oh, but we don't want the navigation item class on it. That's not needed. So we can manage recipes or add a new recipe. All right, so that's a quick way to get there. And likewise, that will go to recipes. Now recipes comes to the dashboard. I'm not sure that is even what we want to do. So I'm going to remove recipes from the dashboard and make that its own thing. And then on the recipes controller, there we go. So now we have our list of recipes. And then meals is a similar situation. We don't want oh, you know what I forgot to do? In recipes, I can get rid of this now. And likewise, we can get rid of menu meals. And instead of menu meals, we just have let's see here. So we want to go to the account team meals path. So we'll just have manage meals. Great. And there's the shortcut for adding a new meal and adding a new recipe. And we could probably have add new ingredient, but I'll just skip that for now. Meal plans. Okay, sidebar looks pretty good. Obviously, we have a bunch of screwed up data, so this doesn't look as good as it will. And then the only other thing I want to do is, nope, that's really fine. We should probably add to the team sidebar a option for okay, there we go. So settings will take us to the edit family details. That's really good. Update family comes to the Culver's dashboards. So now on the Culver's dashboard, we just have meals, meal plans. And we don't even need to have meals here because meals are all here. So we can go to the dashboard and get rid of meals. There we go. So now we just have the meal plans on the dashboard when they sign in. And we'll want to add some onboarding help and things like that for when people first get here because they won't have everything. But that's it. We have cleaned up our sidebar. Pretty happy with how that looks. So, except obviously for the terrible data. Or we'll fix that later. Thanks.